train wrecks your days and nights? What do you stay up reading?
Oh, wow. Mary Kay Andrews. Mary Kay Andrews. It's so funny. I said this last night, too. Whenever somebody asks me what I'm reading, my brain goes, bzzz, like I can't. But I'm always reading something. I either have one on Audible while I'm driving, especially on book tour. I have one on my bedside table. I have a poetry book in my purse for when I can take a small sip of something. But we all love our Southern authors, and we all read them. But what am I reading right now? Oh, good Lord. I mean, it's always something. If I start, I'm going to be talking for 30 minutes about all my favorite books. But you listed my favorite books in the Pink magazine article, so you guys go read that, and you can find out that. But the book that I just finished that I love, because Mary Kay didn't have a new book out. Her real name's Kathy, and I've known her for a long time. So I still call her Kathy. Is a new book coming out by Christopher Swan called In the Shadow of the Lions. Shadow of the Lions. It comes out next month, and I'm a big fan of that. But yeah, I always have something going. People often ask if we read when we write, and I always do. It's the lifeblood of my writing, and always has been. Words, lots and lots of words.
And I don't read books like mine. Patti's books aren't that much like mine. Patti is very much more lyrical, more poetic, more literary, and I just am not, and I'm finally okay with that. So I don't want other people's stories that are anything like mine to creep into my head, especially when I'm writing. And so I'm reading thrillers right now. I just finished an incredible mystery whodunit. It's called Magpie Murders by Anthony Horowitz. It's a golden age mystery, and I loved it. I listened to on Audible on the way down to the beach. I listened to the new Daniel Silva. I just read. I always read Michael Connelly, so I'm saving him up. His just came out this week. And Patti and I have so many author friends, and we try to get to their books too. So there's a huge if the stack falls over on me, I'm a dead woman. I mean, if you hear that I've died, it's because the stack on my nightstand fell on me.
And the other thing I've been reading a lot this year is historical fiction. And she loves historical fiction too. So we were talking about that in the kitchen the other day. What was the one you told me about?
Oh, The Orphan's Tale.
The Orphan's Tale.
Han Janoff. Amazing story. Nazi Germany, takes place at a circus. It's really beautifully done. And she's going to be at the Decatur Book Festival.
She'll be at the Decatur Book Festival. And I have a historical coming out next year, so I spent a lot of time last year reading historicals. The Paris Wife, Circling the Sun, The Orphan's Tale. These are beautiful. I mean, it seems like there's been an explosion of World War II books, and I thought I was done with them, and I started Lilac Girls and loved that one too.
That'll kill you.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Thank you. So I just finished up a book club, and I told you a lot about it. I started a book club a little over a year ago, and we studied Pat Conroy's works for 14 months and read pretty much everything he ever wrote, and it was unbelievable. And as you all know, many of his books were turned into movies. And so I want to know, if a movie was made out of one of your works, which book would that be? And have you ever dreamed of one of your characters being played by someone in Hollywood, and who would that be?
Good question. Which book should be a movie? I'll answer that first. All of them.
That's a cop-out.
No, it's not. I think it should be this one, honestly. This one is told from 4 different points of view. The bookshop at Water's End is told from 4 different points of view. And it's a fascinating turn of events, and you get to see it from everybody's point of view. And that's fascinating for me, even in a movie, because what we think we see and what we really see depends on who we are and how we filter the world. So I think it would be an interesting movie to see. Plus, it's set in a fake town called Water's End. Don't tell anybody, it's really Bluffton. So I think it would.
That's the headline.
I know, that's the headline. So I think, and I'm no sarcastic, but I think it should be filmed here. And who should be in it? I think the one person who should be in all 12 of my novels when they're made into movies is the dreamboat of my life, except for Pat Henry, of course, Mark Ruffalo.
Well, so many of us have pretend husbands.
Yeah.
Paul Rudd is my pretend husband. My fans think Hissy Fit should be made into a movie because it's so outrageous.
Yeah.
And
the opening scene.
Yeah, the opening scene. I've thought about it over the years, but what happens is then you go on, you start another book. I have written a book with a character who's named and inspired by an actor, and it's Harry, the love interest from Savannah Breeze, and he's named Harry because he was inspired by Harrison Ford.
Ah.
So the whole time I was writing this character, he's a charter boat captain, he's very macho. I just kept hearing his dialogue come out of Harrison Ford's mouth, and I told my editor at the time, I said, it's Harrison Ford. She goes, oh my God, you can't do that. I'm like, why not? He's wonderful. She goes, no, he's way too old for Bebe. It's creepy. And I said, he's not too old. He's not out trolling for young chicks. It just happens. And so she said, don't ever tell anybody. And you can't tell, he's too old, so you can't tell his age in this book. I mean, Bebe knows that he's older than she is. And it isn't until the very end of the book, because he keeps saying, I'm not telling you how old I am. It's not until almost the end of the book that he finally says, this is how old I am, and it'll be okay.
The things you find out about one of your best friends that you didn't know because you're on the microphone together. Anything else you want to tell me?
Are you sure? Do you have M&Ms hiding in your underwear or anything like that? Because I do.
Of course you do.
Peanut M&Ms, my favorite. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's go back on the grid with, I'll take one of Raquel's questions here. All right, she wants to know, well, number one, how long have y'all been friends?
So Kathy and I met because our husbands worked together in Atlanta, Georgia. And we met 18 years ago.
Wow.
17 years ago. My babies were babies and my daughter is 24. And I didn't have Rusk and he's 19. So, yeah. And we met at a Christmas party, a company Christmas party. And I was writing in secret. I was writing from 4:30 to 6:30 in the morning in a little room in my basement. And I had a drink or two, and I got enough courage, liquid courage, to walk up to Kathy and say, I'm writing a book. Will you go out to lunch with me? As if I was like, I'm having an affair. Will you help me hide it? So we went out to lunch together, and she said, we have been dear, dear friends ever since.
That's awesome. Yeah, she was like, it was like she was telling me, you were having an affair, but it was with
a book.
It was a mythical, fictional story, which is what happens when you're deep in the story. When you're in a book, when your head is in the book, it is like you're in that other world, and it's almost like traitorous, because you feel like, especially if you're a mom and a wife, you feel like I should be doing all those mom-like things, but in my head, I'm this character. And I'm worrying about this character's world. And so I think that's what we run away to write. Both of us run away to write. Because I can't be in my own world. I can't be in the place where my husband comes in at 11 and goes, what are you thinking about lunch? Because we both work at home. And I'm like, I'm not thinking about lunch. I'm thinking about this sex scene I'm writing. So you might want to just check on out of here.
Speaking of sex scenes, and I wasn't even going to bring that up, but it reminded me of one day I was with Dottie Franks, another friend of y'all's, Dorothea Benton Frank, and I had to ask her because, her books has some pretty steamy sex scenes in it, and I said, how do you write that and still face your children? Do your children actually read this? And she just got so embarrassed, but so Mary Kay / Kathy, tell us about the steamiest sex scene you've written, and how you feel about that after it gets on paper. Because sometimes don't you write things and then you're like, oh my God, I just wrote that.
Well, I didn't write sex scenes. I didn't write those scenes until my father was dead.
Good answer.
Because I couldn't, my dad was old school Irish Catholic, and I didn't want him to know that I knew what that was. So I could not do that, because whenever I was writing, I could feel him over my shoulder, reading over my shoulder. So my books have gotten a little steamier over the years. When I was writing mysteries, it would be like they kissed and then the door shut. But now, you know, for good or for bad, fiction, the world is more, and it's, I don't know, maybe it's not a good thing. Sometimes you think, you know what, we don't need to know that. My daughter reads my books. My son's favorite thing is, Mom, just don't. Don't go there. Don't go there. Don't. He doesn't want to know. But you know, the characters in my books are single, and they're in a mutually consensual, monogamous relationship. And I think it's a natural part of our lives, and it's a natural part of their stories. So I have to, but the only thing worse, I hate writing those scenes. And I will say the only thing worse than writing one is rewriting one.
My dad's still alive.
I don't have any of that.
And he's a preacher.
And he's a preacher.
Yeah, so that doesn't work for you yet.
No.
At all.
No.
Okay, so Raquel would love to know, and we all would, do y'all discuss writing with each other? Do you inspire each other? Do you help each other? Do you get stuck and call each other? How does this friendship work?
I know y'all want to drink champagne and get out of here, so we'll wrap it up with this. But no, people often ask me what my favorite thing is about being published, and you would think my first answer would be seeing my name on a book and getting to do what I'm doing for the next 3 weeks, which is be on the road and meet my readers. And that is, it's amazing, it's miraculous. I'm energized, and I'm humbled, and I'm astounded. But I got to tell you, the tribe of friends that we have found because we care this much about story is immeasurably wonderful. And yes, we do talk about our stories. We plot, we brainstorm, we call each other when we're having a bad day. We talk each other out of the ditch, or sometimes even into it. But yeah,
off the roof.
Yeah.
We've done a couple of writers' retreats where we go away. It's usually at Patti's house, and we lock ourselves up with some good wine, and we talk story. We did one with Mary Alice Monroe a few months ago, and it's serious work. And so we shut out the rest of the outside world, and there's a real level of trust. You have to, you can't expose.
You can't do it with everyone.
This is like your raw bleeding self, and so you can't expose just anybody to that.
So Raquel couldn't be invited to one of
yes,
those.
you're
And so it's great because writing is so solitary. You're alone with a laptop or a yellow legal pad, and you don't know if what you're doing is right, and there's this self-loathing and this incredible self-doubt. But when you have someone else who's been there, who's been down that road, to bounce those ideas off and to say, yeah, I don't know about that. And actually, the last time, Mary Alice and Patti gave me a great plot twist for the book I'm working on.
And we all do it for each other, and there's a certain synergy that happens. And I haven't thought about that, what she just said, that much, but there has to be an extreme level of trust. And the best thing about it is when we don't try to fix it. We just all go, I know. I go there too. I'm halfway through the book, it's up. Like, we know. There's no fixing it. You all are amazing for showing up today. Lisa, thanks you for stopping by. Spartina, I love you for naming a pattern after me. Hey, y'all, there is a raffle going on over here, and there's 2 amazing